What's good? Welcome into the Bengals Breakdown. I'm Abby Alonzo, and we are just a few short hours from night one of the NFL Draft. Got some rumors to break down before that because you know it never stops. We're not even to the draft yet, and there's more rumors, new rumors coming out on day one. I don't know how it happens, but it does every year. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're going to talk about him. Possible trade up for the Bengals, which is completely out of character, but we're going to throw it out there. Word on the street is that could happen. And Keeanu Benton. These three things we're going to get to in just a moment after I tell you that, lucky for you, we're going to be live during the entire draft. All 3 days, all 7 rounds, every single pick, we will have you covered. While ESPN and the big networks are going to commercial break or talking about things you really just don't care to hear, we're going to keep you entertained, give you the context, the breakdown on all the draft picks, and have some fun while we do it. So make sure you head to youtube.com/chatsportstv, hit the sub button, turn on your noties, and join us for the live draft party heading at you tonight. Getting on with it, let's talk about the latest Bengals rumors heading into night one of the draft. Again, just a few short hours away. Jamir Gibbs is a name we've seen throughout the headlines, kind of connected to Cincinnati quite often throughout the past couple weeks. I know a lot of y'all really want him in Cincinnati, and maybe he lands there, right? Mel Kiper's final mock draft has him going to the Bengals. He says, with Gibbs still available, I think the Bengals would pounce. Joe Mixon was ineffective last season, and he could be a candidate to be released after the draft. We've talked about that. We know that could happen. Gibbs is a tremendous pass catcher out of the backfield, but his between the tackles ability is underrated. He'd make this offense better. Given that you've already got a pretty elite offense, hearing that a prospect could make it even better, knowing that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon are the guys on that offense, it's nice to hear that you could be getting another weapon. In 2022, he had 151 carries, 926 rushing yards, 44 receptions, 444 receiving yards, and 10 total touchdowns. Pretty good stats in 2022. What do you think? Do you think adding Jahmyr Gibbs to this roster would level up the play in Cincinnati? Let me know. Should the Bengals draft Jahmyr Gibbs if he's available at number 28? Should they go get him? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Head down to the comments section. Feel free to elaborate on your decision. I do read the comments. Now, he did touch on Joe Mixon and the fact that he may or may not be a Bengal after the draft. He could be cut. He may not be re-signed. We really don't know what's going on for multiple reasons. One, level of play has just kind of gone down. He was less effective in 2022. Clearly, you look how he was in 21 versus 22. There's a big difference. 2020, you can't really count. He only played 6 games. But even in 2019, the production was there. In 2022, it just kind of fell off. Not to mention the off-the-field issues. So you've got an argument as to why maybe getting rid of Joe Mixon might be a good idea. But regardless of what happens to Joe Mixon, whether he is on the roster or whether he is not, you've either got to find a replacement for him now or a replacement for him in the future. Inevitably, Jahmyr Gibbs might be your guy. He's very talented. He's one of the best running backs in this draft class. I think you go out and get him. Do you want to keep in touch with everything going around the Cincinnati Bengals? If you do, hit the sub button. We're going to keep you covered, not just throughout the draft, but throughout the entire offseason, spring training, practice, the pre-games, during the season, after the season, all of it. We come at you almost every single day. This is the place to be if you want to be informed and entertained all in one show. Make sure you hit that sub button, and we'll keep it rolling here on the Bengals Breakdown. Now, I did talk about trading up. Now, this is not absolutely going to happen. Don't come at me when the Bengals don't trade up. I just need to make sure that you are informed of all of the rumors heading into night one of the draft. And this is one of them. PFF actually had a 7-round mock draft, and they mocked this huge splash of a trade with the Giants. They have the Bengals trading with the Giants for Bijan Robinson. Sounds great. Realistic? I don't know. PFF said they made the decision to do this because the Bengals will send pick numbers 28 and 163 to the Giants to move past the Cowboys and the Bills and draft Bijan Robinson. We know the Cowboys and the Bills both are looking for running backs. That would make sense there. This would allow Cincinnati to cut Joe Mixon and build out one of the NFL's most exciting offenses for the 2023 season. This is what that trade would look like, okay? The Bengals would get that number 25 overall to hopefully go out and draft Bijan Robinson ahead of the Cowboys and the Bills. The Giants would get the 2023 first-round pick of the Bengals at 28, as well as the fifth-round pick at 163. Considering the Bengals are in good shape, relatively, compared to a lot of other teams in the league right now, they aren't in dire need, aside from maybe a tight end, maybe a little bit of defense help. You're not in dire need of a roster move or some major help in a specific position. So if you want to give away your fifth-round pick at 163, I don't think it's a dead move. Like, I don't think that is that detrimental. But who would win this trade? And I'll go into a little bit more of detail why I think this is kind of a little silly, just because we'll get there in a moment. But if you're just looking at this trade on the surface, who wins? Cincinnati or the Giants? Again, PFF says they're going after Bijan Robinson, who, if you look at his stats, I mean, come on. He's probably the best running back in this class. He is a very hot commodity right now, right? In 2022, in 12 games, he had 258 carries. 1,500 yards. Let me say it again. 1,500 yards in 12 games. He averaged 6.1 yards per run and had 18 touchdowns. You can't fight the numbers. You can't tell me that those stats aren't good. They're great. Now, here's the problem with trading up for Bijan Robinson. One, you're trading from 28 to 25. Yes, you get ahead of the Cowboys. Yes, you get ahead of the Bills. You don't get ahead of the Eagles, who there's been whispers that they might be a little bit interested in Bijan Robinson, and he's interested in playing in Philly. So you make this trade, you move up to 25, you give up your fifth-round pick, and he's off the board. Now what? Again, at the end of the day, it's not detrimental that you lost your fifth-round pick. It sucks. It's not going to completely destroy your season, but that's a risk you have to be willing to take if you're going to trade up to 25 and Bijan's off the board. Then you've got to figure out who you're going after. Jamir Gibbs, but you could have got him at 28 possibly. Anyway, something to think about. And we'll round out the show with maybe drafting on the defensive side of things with Keeanu Benton. Daniel Jeremiah had his last mock draft. Lots of mock drafts. Of course, we're going to give them all to you on draft day. It only makes sense, right? At number 28, Cincinnati taking Keeanu Benton. Here's why. He says, I could see the Bengals going with a defensive lineman or Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs here. See, look, he's even linking Gibbs to Cincinnati. I have them taking Benton to strengthen the front line. You look at Benton's stats from 2022. Again, 36 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 passes broken up. Good stats. It's just a matter of what you want to prioritize in the first round. Is it a running back you want to go after, or do you want to fix the defensive side of things? Maybe you grab a tight end in the first round. Who knows? You do need a tight end, but you can probably wait a couple rounds for that one. Let me know who you think the Bengals are going to draft on night one. Exciting, just a few hours away, and we will find out exactly what Zach Taylor, Duke Tobin are planning to do with this 2023 roster. Make sure to hit that sub button. We will keep the content coming all throughout the weekend and after. Do yourself a favor, hit the sub button, and we'll see y'all soon.